Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the Voiceover Network presents the Voiceover Hour. We have a very special Voiceover Hour for you all today. I'm really excited about this next hour. We've got an amazing guest, and we're going to be talking about a really interesting subject, narration, for the next hour. Now, look, I can see everybody logging in. Hello, everybody. Hello. I hope you are all well. Can you somebody just tell me that you can hear me? Because it's always good just to know that I can be heard. Hello? Yes, we can hear you. Fantastic. Wonderful. Good stuff. Well, welcome members of the Voiceover Network, because I know lots of our members are watching today, and welcome non-members. There are lots of people who aren't actually members of the Voiceover Network yet who are watching. So welcome wherever you are in the world. Now, we do have people joining us from all around the world, which is always wonderful. And I love hearing about where you are in the world when we do these. And it is great to do the Voiceover Hour. And I love that it's live and that we can broadcast all around the world, because we're able to share information, and it's not just where we are physically. It is, we can be talking to anybody anywhere. So do type in where you are in the world, and I will read them out as they come in. And if you're watching this on record, then don't, because I won't be able to see what you're writing. It's like that thing, isn't it, when you watch the TV? Don't vote now, because your things won't be counted. Right. Oh gosh, they're coming in thick and fast. Right, I'm not keeping up with them. Okay, so we have Wimbledon. Hello, Wimbledon. We've got Southwest London, UK. We have Twickenham, that's just down the road from me. We have Fiona from Edinburgh. Hello, Fiona in Edinburgh. We've got Ventura, California. We've got South London. We have Los Angeles. Hello, Los Angeles. We've got Pakenham, Australia. Hello, Australia. We have North London. We've got Swiss Cottage. We've got Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We've got In the Park in Ealing. Oh, with the sunshine, I'm assuming, because the sun is out in West London. We have Cheshire. We've got Elstree, Hertfordshire. We've got Calgary. Hello, Calgary. We have High All from Sheffield, and we have Hampton Hill. Well, welcome, everybody. I am in West London. Lisa's in South London, and Diane's in North London. East London, really. So yes, fantastic, wonderful. Well, it is amazing to have everybody with us today. The Voiceover Network is all about helping, supporting, and strengthening the voiceover industry. And I started the Voiceover Network nearly 5 years ago. Oh my gosh. And it was all about bringing people together to help and support each other, and creating a safe place for voiceover professionals to learn, to get support, to help each other, and to create amazing things, which is what's happened. When you become a member of the Voiceover Network, if you're not a member, you get access to loads of online resources, the Buzz magazine, you get a one-to-one with a sound engineer, our events, workshops, discounts. It's just tons. So so if you're not a member and you would like to join, just email us later and we will get that sorted for you. But yes, so do ask questions as we go along. This is live, unless you're watching on record, but if you are watching live, please do type in your questions as we go along. We have Lisa Fisicaro, our events and production coordinator, who's joining us. Lisa, do you want to say hi?
I do. Hello. We've been missing for a few weeks now, so it feels good to be back.
I know. It's kind of because the summer holidays and stuff. And oh gosh, I haven't actually introduced myself. That would be a good start for those of you. I know that most of you know me, but
Yes.
But there may be new people who it's your first voiceover hour. And I am Rachel Naylor. I am a voiceover artist. I am the editor of the Buzz magazine. I am host of the Voiceover Hour, and I am founder of the Voiceover Network. So yes, there we go. That's my kind of, and there's a few other things that I do, but that's pretty much most of it. Do use social media as well. So the hashtag for this webinar is, as always, it's the same. It's VON webinar, VON webinar. Please do feel free to post on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and we will make sure that we retweet, share, like, and all that stuff with your comments, videos. I quite like Instagram stories, so do feel free to do some of those. Okay. Now I've got all that stuff done. I can introduce the star of the show, the fabulous Dian Perry. Dian is an extraordinarily versatile voice talent. As a voice actor for nearly 22 years and a voiceover coach for 13, Dian has learned a huge amount about narration and how to teach it to others. She brings a fresh approach to the genre, delving deeper into how the mind, body, and voice must work together to generate intuitive and connected reads. Dian's narration clients, she's got tons of them, but Saks Fifth Avenue, Marriott, Nestle, Cisco, and PwC are just a few. Welcome, Dian.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good, thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh yeah. So you've done it. You've been on one of our voiceover hours before, haven't you?
Yes, I can't remember when it was though. A couple of years now, maybe. But it was all about animation.
Yes.
So different subject today.
Yes. So you've done lots of workshops for the Voiceover Network about animation, and that's obviously a really fun area of the voiceover industry. But today we are talking about narration, and that for most voiceover artists is really bread and butter, isn't it? It's the main work that we do.
Yeah, I love that you said bread and butter, because I think about animation and video games as kind of the pudding, the dessert.
Yes, cherry on top.
Yeah, the opportunities don't come along all that often for those things sometimes. But I think of narration as my meat and potatoes, as my, my entree, my main course. Yeah.
Or vegan meatloaf.
Yes, I shouldn't have said meat and potatoes. My entree. Vegan or vegetarian.
I'm a vegan, by the way, everyone. So that's why I'm kind of. But and for anyone else who's a vegan, fantastic. But it's true, and it is, and I often say to people that is the key, especially people who are maybe going from part-time voiceover artist to full-time voiceover artist. That is the key. It's getting those regular clients. If you don't need a huge amount of those regular clients. You just need a handful of regular narration clients who will just come back and book you again and again and again. And that's how you have a sustainable voiceover business, right?
Definitely. Well, and also I think keep in mind that in order to get animation work, you really do have to have a voice agent, because that's where all those opportunities are funneled through. Yeah. But with narration, if you have a really solid reel and, even just a one-page website, really nice, classy website with your demos on it, you can market and you can get those clients. Yes. So you don't have to be dependent on a voice agent to get those opportunities. So that's another reason why it's very much an entree. It's something that you can, if you're just dying to do animation, that's great. But if you can get a really good narration reel and get narration clients, it's a nice kind of everyday thing, or every other day thing that can just be operating in the underneath while you're looking for those other opportunities. Yeah.
Definitely. And also I just want to say, just for anyone who's Dian's camera just had a drink before we started, so that's just why there's a little bit of fuzziness.
I have to point it out that I'm fuzzy.
Oh no, you're beautiful. But I just thought I'd just throw that in there, just in case anybody thought it was them. But yes. So Dian, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go right back to the beginning and where it all started.
Born in 1962, not that far back.
But for those who are watching, because I know there are a lot of people watching who know you already, but there may be a few that don't, and this is the first time they've come across you. So tell us, how you got into voiceovers.
How I got into voiceover? Well, as a child, I spent most of my time in my room with a little cheap reel-to-reel, practicing animal noises and sound effects and character voices. I didn't know they were character voices at the time, but I just always wanted to be a cartoon voice. And so that was always in the background. And so later on in my life, I pretty much did every other kind of performance, but I avoided voiceover because I kind of forgot about it. I think it was fear, really. So I did everything else. And then about 22 years ago, I finally went, oh, I forgot. I wanted to do cartoons. And so I worked very hard and let everyone know that's what I wanted to do. And, got a demo, and yeah, here I am. Here I am. So I didn't realize then that I would love narration so much.
Yep.
I just thought that narration and commercials, that would be a stepping stone to get me to the brass ring that I wanted, which was animation.
Yeah.
But I love narration. I love medical narration. The harder the words are to pronounce, the more I like it. I love and as the years go by, I like narration. I like the work of it, but what I also like even more, I think, is digging in and getting to the authentic message. So making the communication as pure as possible. And so I'm so excited to talk about all this stuff today because it's been brewing for many, many years. And then recently I've been using it in workshops and with students and seeing just amazing transformations just by shifting the parameters, shifting the foundations about how you prepare for a narration script. Things that directors and producers aren't really going to talk to you about. They just want it to sound right. It's really our responsibility as narrators to understand what has to go on inside us to make it sound all right. And so I'm just trying to get narration to be viewed more as we're communicating a message here.
Yeah.
We're not just trying to make our voice sound a certain way. And so many directors and producers, no disrespect to anyone, but people don't seem to have the vocabulary. They just say, oh, well, can you pause here? Can you do a different inflection there? And those directions have their place, but I don't think that you can expect to have a grounded, solid, connected read from superficial direction.
Yeah.
You can't, it's like trying to put a roof on a house that isn't built yet. You have to have the foundations. I'll talk about that as much as you want, but so I just think it's important that we start going deeper and start preparing ourselves more thoroughly for our narration reads so that they can connect more.
Absolutely.
There's this great analogy that if you've worked with me before, I've probably said it, and I think I actually wrote this in the Buzz magazine article, and that is you're walking down the street and you're saying to yourself, lift leg, bend knee, put foot down, change. Of course you don't do that because you'd fall over. So what you have to do before you go on a walk is you have to decide some parameters. You have to decide, okay, where am I going? You have to know where you're going. How fast do I need to go? Am I in a hurry? And what's the terrain like? Do I have to, what kind of shoes do I have to wear? So you have to decide a few things before you set off. But as soon as you're out the door, you're on autopilot. And you can be thinking about other things, or, you don't have to think about walking down the street. So it's a little bit like that. So there are some tools and tricks and techniques to help you prepare your narration scripts, and all that happens sort of in the left brain, and then let all that go so you can just focus on, now I'm communicating this message. So, I've had great fun trying to distill the foundations down into, 5 or 6 different steps, 5 or different things to think about, and also different ways to distract you from what I call the self-conscious read. So if you're doing a narration script and you find yourself thinking to yourself, how am I sounding? How am I going to deal with this next sentence? Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that word. What shall I get at Tesco, later today? So if you find yourself kind of like wandering off, there are ways to get you into the right part of your brain, which is the right brain. That's where you want to be.
Yep.
So emotions, focusing on the emotion of the text.
Yep.
That will be in your right brain. Focusing on a visualization. So for example, when I'm doing e-learning, I have a very specific visualization that I use, which is where I'm at a table and my student is next to me. and on the table there's a book open, and I'm just gently guiding them through all that learning that's on the book. So just by visualizing that does a couple of things. So that takes me out of my left brain.
Yeah.
That gets me focused on, I'm visualizing something. I'm using that visual part of my brain. But also by visualizing me at a table with a student, what that does is just inform everything that e-learning needs to be. Mm-hmm. So all the different subgenres of narration, of course, you know this, they all require different skills, yes, and different mindsets and different approaches. So that's just, for an example, that's fine for e-learning. So that sorts out the pace, because I'm visualizing teaching this person, and e-learning has to go at a slower pace because someone is actually trying to take in what you're saying. Yeah. So, you know, there's all different kinds of things like that. If you just set those things, do your thinky think with your left brain beforehand, and then shift it all over to the right brain and down into the heart and the gut, which is where authentic communication comes from. Now, this may sound all very woo-woo, but I mean, if you try this, I've heard this so many times with students. Well, they'll do a read and they'll go, okay, that's great, but I can sense that you are trying to manipulate your voice, mm-hmm, and you're trying to control what your voice is doing, which is all happening from this logical, I will do this with my voice now, and I will do a narration. And if they shift it, if they do all the little steps and shift that down to the right, where it's coming from the right place, the read completely changes. They make completely different choices because they're not focused on all those things. Like, what am I doing? How am I looking? How am I sounding? You know, it's like when you go to a restaurant and you're unfortunate enough to sit across from a mirror. It's really distracting because you're trying to be yourself talking to this person that you're having dinner with, but you keep getting a you know, a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, and it makes you really self-conscious, right? Yeah. So that's what we do when we're narrating. We're thinking about these things. How's it going? Am I sounding good? You know, do I go up here, go down here? You know, there's no way that you can turn in a really solid connected read if you're thinking about all that stuff. Yeah. You know, and when I first started, I was like that. I was trying to control the read, where I didn't realize that I was trying to control it from the outside in, from the top down, rather than from the inside out and from the ground up, which is where authentic communication comes from. So that's
beautifully put, and you're absolutely right. And I think because, you know, as we know, you know, I've been in the industry for a long time, you know, like you, Diane, and, you know, it used to be that you could get away with talking, you know, doing, you know, the announcer read where you overdo things and just make things sound very pretty and do all this kind of up and down and sing-songy. And we used to be able to do that. And there was a fashion for a while, but you can't get away with that anymore. And the voiceover industry has moved on, and sales and marketing, the way that we absorb information, the way that we are sold to, everything has changed and shifted into this authentic, natural, conversational read. And, you know, the majority of voiceover direction is now, you know, conversational, natural, friendly, you know, well, actually I always get friendly. Not everyone gets friendly. But yeah, that kind of, it's about being authentic. And so often, you know, that's what directors want, and they don't know how to articulate it, like you're saying. And that can be very frustrating for the director and for the voice actor, especially when the director starts saying, okay, go upward. Yeah, as you were saying, go upward here. No, go downward there. And then that takes you out. It gets you right into your brain when you're going, oh gosh.
Exactly. But I want to just clarify something. When I say authentic, I'm not using that as a synonym to conversational. I mean an authentic read, no matter what the style of read. Yeah. So it's just like you have to bring in a facet of yourself in order to make the read believable. Oh, have we lost Lisa? Is she gone?
Where did Lisa go?
I don't know. Oh. Anyway,
so she had enough. She was like, that's it, I'm off. I'm out of here.
So yeah, what I mean by authentic is that you just bring in that it's coming from the right place, that it's not a manufactured kind of.
It's not like authentic. It is truly authentic.
Yeah, truly authentic. Yeah, authentic in the authentic sense of the word. Yeah.
And so when people, actually I just want to backtrack a little bit, just in terms of, because I know that we get people who are from all different kind of levels on the webinar. I'm going to come back to this, but just for those who are starting out, in terms of narration and stuff, just can you just run through, like, when we're talking about narration, what like areas of the industry we're talking about, just for those who are kind of starting out?
I mean, everyone, I think lots of different people have a lot of different ideas. Me personally, I think of narration as the overarching umbrella, and then all the different sort of subcategories under that. So for me, some people think corporate narration is different than some other kind of narration. For me, narration is the umbrella. Underneath that, you could have corporate narration. You could have all different kinds of corporate narration. So a call to action, you could have technical, medical, something that's, for an AGM, or, lots of different kinds of corporate narration. You can have explainer videos. So, put tab A into slot B kind of thing.
Yeah. So
here's what came in your flat pack. Here's how, going to tell you how to put it together. What else? We've got audiobooks, obviously. That's a huge sub area in narration. What else do we have?
Documentaries.
Of course, documentaries. But all different kinds of documentaries. You have something that's on the Discovery Channel, or you have, the nature. So there's so in narration. And e-learning is a huge section of narration.
And the e-learning industry is going crazy right now. I can't remember what the statistics are. It's something like,
I can tell you. I read something on Forbes's website about 3 weeks ago. It's actually set to hit $325 billion by 2025. That's huge. Most of those projects are going to need skilled voice actors.
Yes.
So the amount of work out there for e-learning is enormous.
Yeah. Huge.
It's huge, yeah.
And also audiobooks as well is massive. And corporate narration. I mean, I often say to people, when you think about how many companies there are in the world, every single company pretty much now needs to have, a voice on the end of the phone. It needs to have a corporate video, sales presentation videos.
On hold, IVR, those things are narration as well. Yeah. But, there's a distinction between, and one of the foundations that I like to teach is that one of the main questions that you have to ask yourself about a narration project is, are there visuals? And if there are visuals, what are they? And the reason that you need to ask that, because your narration performance for a project with visuals is going to be very different from one that without visuals. If there are visuals, the visuals are always the star. They're always the main attraction. So if you're used to doing a lot of radio or a lot of voiceover work where it's only your voice, you're going to have to learn how to pare that back, how to take a couple of steps back from the limelight and let the visuals be the star, and let it breathe more. So you have to know, are there visuals? What are the visuals? And that's going to, knowing what the visuals are that's going to dictate how your read is going to progress. Yeah. So, for example, if the visuals are jet skis, racing down the river or something, then of course your pace is going to be a lot quicker than it would be, if you're talking about, I don't know, woodland creatures or something. So there's lots of things to think about, and those are a couple of the things. So visuals, positioning, what I call positioning, that's another. This is all kind of the foundational stuff. So positioning, which is, am I speaking as a member of the company, or am I speaking as an outside authority saying that company over there is amazing?
Yeah.
So, and that's really important to know.
It's a massive difference.
Where are you standing when you deliver this message? So, and it's really easy to find that out because the text will tell you. So if the text contains, we are awesome, we made so much money last year, we are going to do great things next year, then, you're a member of the company. And that, just knowing that will automatically instill, for example, a sense of pride when you're giving the narration, because you will feel like I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're an authority, what I'm looking for is, and this, what I've kind of put together is some foundational elements that change, that knowing what they are and setting them it changes your read in ways you do not have to think about.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're after. We're looking to leave the house, to go on that walk and not have to think about anything. And
Yeah.
just that way the communication can just come from the right place without your interference going, well, this doesn't sound good. And of course we all have that critic that sits on our shoulder. And we have to figure out, ways to, just leave me alone. Thank you very much. Let me do the read and then you can have your say. But, sometimes while we're doing a read, we have that voice going, well, so-and-so does this a lot better, or whatever this sort of mental chatter that we have. So that's why focusing on visuals and even visualizing something and focusing on the emotional part of that keeps you out of that critical part of your brain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really interesting the way the industry is now, and having come into it back in the day, way back when, there wasn't any training, that we didn't have voiceover coaches. We didn't have events.
The voiceover network.
We didn't have. I don't know. Crazy. But we just had to make mistakes on the job and just
learn as we went.
There was a fair amount of winging it.
Yeah,
let's be honest. And going and just making mistakes as you go on the job, which is not good, because that you can lose clients doing that, lose a lot of clients doing that. But the great thing now that we have, obviously, we've got people like you and the Voiceover Network and lots of, training and workshops and coaches and stuff, which is wonderful, because it means, guys, you don't have to go and wing it. You don't have to make mistakes on the job. You can make these mistakes in workshops, in training sessions. That's where you go and play and make mistakes. And then when you turn up to the job, you nail it, because there are the industry is growing. Yes, there's loads of work, but there are also more people joining and becoming voiceover artists every day. And we don't have the luxury to be able to go in and mess up. You have to go in and nail it. Otherwise they will get somebody else.
Well, what we do have, what's really nice though, is that we have that experiential training, which means that it's really quite deep rooted. We get it.
Yeah.
We get what it takes to actually bring the words off the page, and and we can help other people do that. So we went through hell. I won't say hell. It wasn't hell. I enjoyed every minute of it. But we went through that really difficult process by learning and getting it wrong and being embarrassed, and So I think it's in our DNA how to do this. But again, like you said, there's so many people becoming voice artists every single day. We can no longer afford the luxury of being able to just phone it in, of being able to just tell our brains, okay, it's that kind of read. I'll just rattle that off. I'll just manipulate my voice the way I know it's supposed to sound, and it'll be fine. And you know what? Most people probably would think it was fine. But because the market is so saturated now, we have to we can't keep doing those shortcuts. We have to just go deeper, and the people will tell. People will they won't know why, but they will feel more connected to your read if you feel more connected to your read. If you feel it, I have a story for you. Okay.
Ooh, yes.
Right. So years and years ago, and I didn't put this together until many years later, but many years ago, I went and I was doing this big call to action corporate video. So it was for this product manager's meeting or something, one of these really big John Williams-y kind of orchestration behind it, just really powerful. We're amazing, to get all the employees frothed up and everything. So I was in the booth, and luckily they played the music for me, which always helps. If you if you get the music played in your ear at the same time, then you're right in there. You know where you're supposed to be. So anyway, I was doing this read, and I noticed a very physical reaction that I was having. And it was one of those where the positioning was, I was a member of the company. So, we're amazing, we're awesome. And I had this very physical kind of chills all up and down my spine, and then like tingles in my hands, just like fizzy through this whole thing. And which was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was so connected to what I was saying, and I was feeling that sense of pride, and the big music was going on, and I was just firing on all cylinders. It was wonderful. So that was one thing that was great. But then afterwards, we went into the control room and we were listening back, and everyone else reported that they had chills, that they had goosebumps. And it wasn't till years later when I put that together that, and I truly, I believe this with every fiber of my being, whatever vibration, whatever energy you create within your body gets transmitted through the voice and into the ear of the listener. So, we've all watched a movie where there's a big emotional scene and the actress, I won't mention any names, the actress is crying and everything. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm just not feeling this. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I feel like you're just manufacturing, I'm going to make the crying thing. And so, but if they go there, like, for example, Meryl Streep, she goes there.
Yeah.
And you buy it. It's not even you buy it. You feel it.
Yes.
Because it's actually been generated in her body and comes out through her voice and just her energy. And so, Meryl Streep starts crying in a row. I mean, you're in bits, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing can be applied to narration. And I'm not saying that your corporate narration has to bring people to tears. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you have to generate the right energy. So that's why one of the main, and this was actually, I've got the Buzz magazine right here, my article in the Buzz magazine.
Oh, love your
article. Actually a year ago. I didn't realize it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But one of the foundations that I like to work with is what I call the 3 dials.
Yeah.
Really simple. So dial number 1. Can I just go through them real quick? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
So dial number 1 is intention. So what are you trying to do with this communication? So think of intention as the one that you're going to be bringing to life. Are you, for example, seducing, training, teaching, cajoling? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? So that's kind of like, if you plug that into the walking analogy, that's like, okay, where am I going? That's your intention. Mm-hmm. So dial number 2 is pace. So we talked about pace. So that might be taking its cue from, maybe you're doing a narration for a video and the visuals are already put together. So then you'd be limited by, okay, you've got 7 seconds to do this one line to fit that in. So that's going to affect your pace. But also the emotionality of the piece. Like I said, if it's jet skis, it's probably going to be faster. So pace is important, right? So then when you're leaving for your walk, how fast do I have to go? Am I in a hurry or can I take my time? And then dial 3 is formality. So that's basically, who are you talking to? Are you talking to little kids about their first words, or are you maybe talking to oncologists about the next big cancer treatment? So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most formal, how formal does this have to be? And I kind of liken that to the terrain, when you're going out on your walk. What's it going to be like? Yeah. So those are the 3 dials. If you dial those in at the beginning when you're doing your prep, and then some other foundational things like positioning. I'm forgetting one of my other foundations. Oh, right, like an emotional set point. Who am I? Who am I talking to? All that stuff. Then just let it go. Your read is going to just be so much different because you're not going to be thinking about all that stuff while you're doing your read.
Absolutely. Wow, loads to take away there, guys.
It's fascinating. I mean, I've been in the laboratory for many, many, many years, and this stuff has just been accumulating.
Yeah.
And then in the last couple of years, just starting to filter that out to other people and seeing how their reads completely change just because they've changed their mind.
Yeah.
And their body. Gesturing is another big thing. So you see people, their reads just come alive because they're actually. Here's another little analogy for you. Think of your communication as a beam of light. So you want that beam of light to reach your listener as solid a beam as possible. So the more that you have going on in your mind, like how am I sounding, that self-conscious kind of thing, you're diffusing that light.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't reach the listener as purely as it could. So I kind of think of it in those terms too. Maybe stream, sometimes I think of it that way. But you just want to make sure that it all just gets there. And it's got there are no shortcuts. You have to feel it. You have to be there. You have to align yourself with what the client wants, what the client's message is. You have to align yourself with that because otherwise it just won't land right. The listener probably won't know. The listener won't know why. They just won't be that connected to what you're saying.
Wow.
unless you are. So
Yeah,
it's about
absolutely.
being connected. It's about connecting to who you are as that narrator and who you're talking to. And that way you've got a really solid beam to build from, and then you build the other things. And, you know, some other little tricks up my sleeve, which I won't share just yet. Maybe.
Oh, well, you're writing a book as well at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I
It's
am.
very exciting.
It's a slow process. I'm at the very early stages. I have been in touch with a publisher and waiting to hear back. So, you know, I can't say too much, but the working title is The Psychology of Narration. So it's everything we've been talking about. It's everything, basically the main thrust of the book is what goes on inside a great narrator to make them great. So it's everything we've been talking about, but also how to, you know, all the skills, but also how to deploy those skills into the real world. So, you know, bits of obviously a bit about narration demo and marketing and things like that. But the main thrust is how to be authentic in your communication. So it's, you know, it'd be good not just for voice artists, but I'm hoping that directors and producers will get their hands on it, because wouldn't it be nice to be able to have the same vocabulary? You know, and I've had this before where I've been trying to get them to tell me about, okay, well, you know, ask some of those deeper questions about what we're doing. And they just don't have, some of them just don't have the vocabulary. They will, I just want you to do an inflection up here. And I said, well, okay, I'm a bit lippy now, but I go, okay, why? Oh, you know, they don't know. I don't know. I want the inflection to go up. Well, yeah, but you know, that's just dance, monkey dance. You know, I want to know why. I want to know why you want it to go up. Do you want me to be more emotional then there? Do you want me to, you know, I want a new vocabulary so that we can start communicating authentically. As voice artists, we have the power, because we're communicating all the time. You know, we have the power to kind of, to bring something really magical through our voice and out into the world, no matter what we're talking about, you know?
Definitely.
I'm not saying if it's a 1-800 porn line or something. I'm not saying that, oh, how to reach into and get my authentic hooker. And I'm not saying that, but you know, we have an opportunity, because our voices are vibration. Everything is vibration.
Yeah.
And so whatever we can bring to it, that's authentic and nice, then, you know, it'll go out into the world.
Definitely. And I think something that's also absolutely key with any kind of voiceover, but particularly narration, you can't hide behind anything. You know, you're in there, your voice, and if you aren't confident in your skills, if you don't feel like you know what you're doing, it will come across, and the director will know, the listeners will know, which is why training and doing workshops and watching webinars like this and reading books and training is so important, because you need to be in the booth knowing that you can nail it.
Absolutely.
And if you don't feel like that, they will know, and you won't get booked again.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because it's one of the really interesting things that's kind of come up again and again and again, and that is whatever state the voice artist is in that day. So actually whatever mood they're in, but also personality traits can come out in the read. I've had countless people, this is my booth right behind me, I've had countless people in my booth that I've not worked with before, and they'll give me a little read, and I'll go, are you a really controlling, or can you be controlling? And they go, yeah, how do you know that? Well, because it's in your read. You know, impatient people, if you have a tendency to be impatient, then you might have a tendency to look ahead in the text to try to plan for what's happening. Excuse me. So that's come out very interesting. So what happens is, with working with students on these techniques, is that there has become a little bit of personal awareness as well. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I know that I have a tendency to do that personally. That means that's going to come out in my read. What can I do to counteract that? And then there's a little bit of personal development that happens kind of as a side benefit. It's very interesting. It's fascinating to me how it all just, because it's all communication.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lisa, we've got questions that have come in.
We have, yes. I just wanted to say as well, when I dipped out, I lost my connection.
We just thought you just had enough of us.
It just went out. I think, Stephen, if you had some questions in the Q&A, I don't have them there anymore. So if you want to write them in this chat box, that'd be great. Right. So Anna says, I once had a job in London with a director in the room and the New York client supervising. Both had very different opinions of what they wanted. New York liked more smiley and London liked more conversational. And I definitely got a little in my head during the session. Wasn't sure who to listen to. How would you deal with this situation? I just followed their lead and I tried my best.
Interesting. Yeah, that's always tricky when you're getting direction by committee, and especially if you've got, that's a really unusual situation. Well, it's probably happening more and more where you've got someone in one country and someone in another country, because there are going to be cultural considerations where someone thinks, oh no, the read should be this way, the read should be that way. How would I deal with a situation like that? I probably do just what you did. Try my best to please both people, while all the time thinking inside what read feels right to me. So try to do exactly what they're asking. But also, that's when you have to do a lot of talking. Okay, well, I think what you're saying is this, and sort of translate it into your own vocabulary. So many times, or I've been working with a director, and they've done the inflection thing, or they've said, I want you to stress that word, or whatever. When those things can be sometimes helpful. But if they start with that kind of thing, I thought, okay, well, what I think you're saying is this. Is that what you mean? And so you have to really talk about it. But I would probably do the best I could to try to service what they're saying. And then if there's time, always at the end, I go, you know what? I got this read that's just kind of stuck in my head. As we just got a couple of minutes, do you mind if I just kind of read it how I'm feeling it? And most of the time I go, oh my God, thank you. Absolutely, go for it. And then so often they go, that's the read. That's because it's coming from the depth of you. Whereas if you're trying to please different people, then it's really easy to get stuck in your head because they're using words to describe what the read should be, which then means that you're having to think about it. And then before you know it, the whole team is all in their left brain, trying to decipher what this read should sound like, rather than talking about the emotional part of it, the intention part of it. What are we trying to accomplish here? Those deeper foundational elements that are going to help you, I think, get to the right read quicker. You talk about the foundation of it. So if someone's talking to you from the top down, go, okay, well, let's just start from the foundation. What about this? Who are we talking to? What's happening down here on the ground level? Then we can build up the house. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it does. I think it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So moving on to Martine Richards asks, given all the subgenres of narration, what, how long, and how many clips would you suggest include on a narration reel?
Okay, well, that's a really good question, and a lot of people probably have that same question, and you'll get as many different answers as people that you ask. I can only tell you my opinion. Because a narration reel, because you have to show that you can sustain a read longer than you would, let's say, in an animation reel or a commercial reel, the clips are going to naturally have to be longer. And so that means the reel itself is going to be a bit longer. So I just always say that a good guide is 2 minutes. 2 minutes max for a narration reel. Maybe 1.5 minutes for commercial, 1.5 minutes for animation. For narration, 2 minutes, give yourself that extra time. If you love audiobooks and that's what you want to do, then just do a reel just with audiobook clips. If you really don't want to do it, then just don't. Because there's a lot of work. I'm not an audiobook person. I've done them. It's not really my thing. So, I don't have an audiobook, clip on my reel. There's no point. So unless you love all of the genres that you have on your reel, just don't put them on there. Yeah. So length of clip, again, that really depends. A medical narration, for example, you wanna have just the meatiest, juiciest, hardest to pronounce words you can have, and just include enough of that. I'm not really giving a finite answer because there really isn't one, but I'd say maybe a good guide is maybe, I don't even know. I couldn't even guess. 10 seconds maybe? I really don't know. But just, have it be long enough so that the listener can get comfortable, with knowing that, feeling comfortable, confident that you can sustain that read. And that, okay, she definitely knows what she's doing on that. Next, but don't have it go on and on and on until the point where they're just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if that helps, but 2 minutes is a good guide. And maybe this will help. So if you had 2 minutes and you had maybe 5 or 6 different genres, if they're strong, if you can be strong in 5 or 6 genres, then put them all on there. If you're only good on 3, just put 3 on there. Do not pad out your reel. Yeah. So don't go, oh, it's not long enough, I'll just throw this little bit of poo on there, kind of fatten it out, because it will dilute your read. And the producer will go, does she think that's good? Why is that on there? Just don't. Only the stuff that's just sparkling. Yeah.
Fantastic. And before we go with any more questions, I just wanted to throw something out there for everybody, which is who would be interested in doing a workshop about narration with Dian Perry? Just say yes, yo, me, or something in the comments, just so we can see who would be interested in a workshop with Dian Perry about narration. Who wants to learn from the best?
I suddenly feel like I'm in one of those dating auctions, Like
yes.
I'm on the.
Who wants her? How much will you give for her?
Uncomfortable.
Well, there is, look, lots and lots of wonderful, yes, definitely interested, yes, please, yes. Okay. Nice. Well, as it happens, Diane's going to do a workshop for us. Which is very, very exciting. You are getting an exclusive. You are hearing about this first. Nobody else knows in the world.
Well, that's not true. Okay. I've told a couple of people.
Oh, but so it's happening. It's happening. This one, I know, Stephen in Australia, I know it's a bit too far for you to come. But this workshop is in person. We are planning to do some stuff online, but for this workshop it is in person in London, I'm afraid. So sorry, Stephen, but we are going to do some more stuff out in Australia, so don't you worry about it. But yes, so tell us about the workshop, Diane.
Well, I've done workshops on narration before, but never 2 days. Yes. So this is because the feedback I would always get was not long enough. So this is great because we have the whole first day to talk about all the foundational stuff. There's going to be exercises, there's going to be pair work, there's going to be samples. I mean, we're just going to be immersed in everything narration. Yeah. And then day 2, we go into the studio and we actually work on mic, and just, that's basically the shape of it. I'm still planning it. Because I have a certain way that I plan these things, and I have to have the touchstones, and then so I'm filling in the gaps with, okay, I need an exercise now that that shows them how to do this, and so we're going to do all that. So recording and playing back is, as you know, one of the quickest ways for people to learn. Yeah. And so recording what you think it should be, then taking direction, recording it again, listening to it back, changing, change your mind, change your body, add some gesturing. So day 2 will all be about that. So I'm very excited.
These techniques are techniques that you guys will be able to use in loads of different areas of your voiceover business, and they will be tools that you can use every day to make sure that you secure work, in auditions, and that you secure regular kind of return clients, because that's an important thing. Yes, getting the job initially is important, but it's making sure you nail that job so that they come back and want more and more and more from you, because that's where the successful voiceover artists in the industry, that's where they nail it. It's in the job.
Definitely. Sorry, one more thing to add. So on day 2, we're going to talk about, taking all that stuff and putting it into the real world. So how do you actually get clients? How how do you contact them? How do you find them?
Fantastic.
How do you, what do you say in an email? What do you say in a phone call? The narration demo, how to put that together, and all of that. So
wonderful.
Yeah, the whole gamut.
So exciting, and I can feel everybody watching. They're going, when? And how do we get a ticket? When is it?
Also, everybody gets a workbook, so everybody gets a bound workbook for the weekend they can work through. And also, you'll be getting the recordings.
The recordings, so you get the recordings to take away.
And I can't believe I have to say this, but so many people ask, not that you could put on a demo.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask that. Can I put this on a demo? No. So I go, well, let me ask you this. Would you sing in the shower and then release that as an album? Yeah. No, you would not. So, no, just for practice. But yes.
Definitely. So, okay, people, this is so exciting, and this is an exclusive, and you are hearing this first. The dates are, let me just grab the dates. It is in London on the 12th and 13th of October.
Oh, next month. It's just over a month away.
It's just over a month away, people. So it's 2 days. So it's the Saturday and the Sunday, full day. You are immersed. You will get to work with 11 other voiceover artists. So it'll be a group of 12, so a small group. You'll get lots of time. But also, what's wonderful about these workshops is that you learn so much by watching other people. And when you see them kind of breaking through things and learning stuff. So
that's the safe chair. When you're watching someone else do it, and you go, "Well, wow, this is quite safe because I can just watch what happens."
Yeah,
and learn that way. Yeah,
definitely. So, but there are limited, as I said. So they're limited tickets. There's only 12 guys, and you guys are going to get first dibs. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up in a minute. The web page and
it's open.
Oh, the web page is open. Right, you can go to the web page. Lisa will put it in a minute. So the tickets. Oh, she's put it in. Okay, I haven't told people the prices yet. So the prices are the general price is $449 for 2 full days, which I think is an amazing deal. $449, and the members price is
$395.
$395. There we go, $395. But people, what we're doing for you guys is we have a special early bird price where we're knocking £50 off. So it is $395 for general tickets, and it is $349 for members of the Voiceover Network. As I said, there's only 12 tickets. Diane's workshops always sell very fast. I imagine this workshop is going to sell out really, really quickly. So if you want one of these tickets, you need to grab it quickly. We're going to open up the web page. This is like a pre-release for the next 2 hours. So for the next 2 hours, you can purchase tickets, and then we will close it down. And then if there are any tickets left tomorrow at 10 a.m. UK time, we will open it up to members of the Voiceover Network. They will get priority booking, and then they will go on general release. If there are any left, which I don't think there will be, at midday tomorrow. So,
buy all of them and just have a little party on my own. That wouldn't be any fun. No. Would that be catered if I did that? Would you still cater that if it was just me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and lunch is included, people. Amazing lunch. So,
just a word about the venue. The venue is an amazing venue, which was used many times before for the animation workshops, which is in North London, Casual Films. It's like a converted New York loft.
Oh,
so it's exposed brick and glass, and it's giant. There's plenty of little places for you to go to rehearse, and then there's an audio suite where we all kind of gather together and do the recordings and stuff. It's a magical place. So just a little note on that.
Yes, definitely. So I see that yes, it's the price of the workshop plus VAT, but it's all tax deductible, guys. So you can all write it all off as a business expense, because it's part of your CPD, your continuous professional development, and the VAT is just tax. It's just tax, and that's just a legal thing that we have to add. So yes, so exciting. Oh, people are starting to book tickets. Guys, grab your ticket. As I said, there's only going to be 12. There's only 12 spots, so they will go quickly.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you guys for having me on, and it's a joy, and thank you guys for everything that you do for the industry, because I just, I send every student that comes to see me, I send them your way, So you have a steady. I should get a commission, really.
Yeah.
No, no, because it's so helpful. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for letting me come and just rabbit. I could talk about this for just hours, and I will be in October.
Narration.
Yes, I know.
For hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. It's gosh, I can't believe it's been an hour. I could totally carry on chatting away. But no, it's amazing, Diane. And you're one of the founding members of the Voiceover Network. You've been a massive supporter of us for 5 years, and it means the world. You are, an amazing person,
and that's what it's about. So, but that, membership reflects leadership.
Thank you. I know. Sometimes it really gets me. There was a lovely post in the Voiceover Network Facebook group recently where somebody kind of came in and they said they were going through a tough time, but how wonderful and supportive the group had been, and how it was so essential and so important to them, and just the love that Richard got was incredible. He was just showered with love from everybody in the group and all the members, and that's really special. Nowhere else has that. So thank you to all the members of the group.
Thanks everyone,
everybody for being part of this community and supporting our vision in helping each other, because I genuinely believe that the information, I know Diane, you believe this, and Lisa, you believe this too, that the information that we have in our heads is not ours to own. It's to share.
Have to.
And we have to help each other. That's
our job.
It is. It totally is.
Part of our job is to pass it on.
Yeah. So that's really exciting, and I'm really excited for everybody doing this workshop. And I'm sorry for those of you that are in Australia, the other side of the world, that you can't get to do this workshop. But maybe we'll have to get Diane to Australia.
Okay. Let me think about it. Okay.
Right. Well, that's what we can do.
Well then.
But yes, so but it's going to be an amazing weekend, and everybody who goes on this is going to come away with a huge amount of tools and resources. And
I hope so. That is my hope. I mean, my wish really is that everyone who comes on the workshop, that their reads just change.
Yeah.
And that the way that they not only deliver a narration script, but the way that they, communicate in general.
Yeah.
Just you start to just become, because that's the first step. It's just becoming aware what's happening in your brain while you're trying to do this thing. In this case, read a narration script. So becoming aware of that. Oh, well, what? I never realized that. I never realized there was this voice in my head going, "You're crap, or whatever that little voice is saying.
Yeah. So
that's the first step, is just becoming aware of what's going on in there, and then start sifting through it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wow. Right. Well, that's the hour is up. We are at the end of the voiceover hour. Can just make sure everybody do tweet and Instagram and Facebook, use the hashtag BON webinar, BON webinar. It's an amazing part of your marketing, because we will retweet it and reshare it and comment and like and all that sort of stuff, which we've got a huge following on social media. So yeah, get on social media and share any amazing nuggets that you've got and what you think of the workshop as well.
What's Diane's handle?
What's your
for what? Twitter?
Instagram.
Yeah.
I should probably know that.
I reckon if you just look up Dian Perry, search
I should know that, but I don't know.
It'll come out. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I'll be able to see these comments after this webinar, because I don't have my glasses on, and I saw these little comments coming up, and I can't read any of them.
Yes,
yeah, I can send
it to you. Oh, look, somebody's put Martina's put, it's voice girl 1111.
Thank you. Is that for Twitter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. How embarrassing. I just don't give it out,
Yeah.
So, just a reminder, everybody, the workshop, the dates are the 12th and 13th of October in London. There's an amazing early bird deal, which is $395 for general tickets and 349 for members, early bird tickets. So that is available for the next 2 hours, and then it will be closed, and then we'll open it up again tomorrow morning.
399.
399, sorry, yeah, 399 and 495. Yes, there we go. Split payment options are available. If you would like to, if money is an issue, and I know like finances can be tricky, especially, you know, after the summer period, do email Lisa at thevoiceovernetwork.co.uk, and we can do split payments, because we never want people not to be able to do anything due to finances. There is always a way. So just let us know if that is an issue, and we'll sort it out. So, wonderful. Okay, that brings us to the end of the Voiceover Hour. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, members of the Voiceover Network. Thank you, non-members. Thank you, wherever you are in the world. It is wonderful to be able to share this information with you, and I hope you've enjoyed the last hour. Thank you, Lisa.
It was fantastic. Thank you. Thanks, Dian.
That went so fast. I can't believe how fast that went.
It did.
Yeah.
We were absorbing it.
And lastly, thank you to the amazing, wonderful, knowledgeable superstar that is Dian Perry. Thank you so much.
Ladies. Appreciate it.
It's been amazing.
Bye.
So have a lovely rest of your evening, day, wherever you are in the world. And we will be back next week for another The Voiceover Hour. Brilliant. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.